Good morning. We just recently got done with a snowstorm here in Wisconsin, and one of the things that I like to do is maintain my plow and salt equipment. So today I'm going to show you how I wash my truck and what I do to keep it looking clean. It's over 20 years old. There's no rust on it. The cab corners, door bottoms, and all that are in very good shape. You don't have to let your truck rot away, and I'm going to show you how I do it and how I can keep a really old truck looking nice. All right, before I go anywhere this morning, unfortunately, the city of Brookfield switched garbage collection companies, and they're no longer going to come up the driveways and get our garbage. We have to bring all of our garbage down to the street every Monday, I guess. And then we're going to go ahead and wash this thing up. All right, that's not really all that fun in the winter time, but complaining doesn't do you any good. That's just what we got to do now. I'm gonna go grab some coffee, and I need a hose. Well, it looks like I have a hose. This hose is not gonna work. I'm gonna pull it around front anyway. I got a hose at the yard that doesn't have any water in it. We'll go get that. I gotta get coffee anyhow. All right, let's go get some coffee and a dry hose so we can get this done. Frosty.
How you doing today?
Good. No Scott?
He's doing great.
Is he here?
He actually went home on time today.
Did he?
I don't know what's wrong with him.
All right. All right, I'm just pulling into the yard. This is what the yard looks like in the middle of the winter. Oh, we're not even into the middle of the winter yet. Just the beginning of January. We're not using that hose either. Here's one. Let's see what this one's like. It's in the teens right now, maybe pushing 20 degrees. It's not real windy. There's a little bit of a breeze. It doesn't feel too bad. I know to some people this would feel like the worst thing, but it's not in Wisconsin. All right, hopefully we can get some water through this hose. It feels like this hose doesn't have water in it. I should say ice in it. There's ice in this hose too. Come on. We'll just stretch her out down the driveway here, down the hill. Sometimes they break loose and you get lucky. I think it's gonna break loose. I really do. It's trying. It's gonna pop here in a second. Yes! We got it. First thing I do is I'll start the truck, turn the salter on. I take the tarp off, and then I'll wash the inside of the salter, get everything 100%. It's about upper teens right now. The high temperature is supposed to get into the low 20s, but it's cold right now. Oh, there are a ton of chunks. Oh, that's not good. We can't wash this yet. We gotta unfreeze that block of salt there, and then we gotta go somewhere and throw all these chunks out. When I was salting the other night, I saw this. I went up and looked, and then I broke it up, or I thought I broke it up with a concrete pin. And I turned it on and it salted for a little while, but apparently I should have checked again. How many of you guys have ever had a full salter or a partial salter freeze up solid on you and you had to chisel it out? And this isn't too bad, this is only a little bit. And I got a hose here, so I'll just rinse it all down. I'll tell you a story since I'm doing this. There was one time when we first got into plowing and salting, and we got a bunch. The first year we got a bunch of plowing and salting. We had all of our employees, probably 6 guys working on it. And one of the guys wasn't really a construction guy. He was an office guy. And we needed somebody to run the salt truck. So we sent him out, and he had a full salter, and I'm not sure what he did, but he only used very little salt that night. And he parked it. And it was very, very cold out. And the entire salter, the salt in the salter, I should say, froze solid. Guess whose responsibility it was to empty that salter out, because we needed it because snow was coming the day after. It was mine. And I chiseled that salt with hammers, chisels. I tried to use heat. We didn't have any indoor shop space. You couldn't just thaw it. I worked on it for hours. I probably worked on it for 3 to 4 hours. I'm not teaching anybody not to wear gloves. I'm just telling you, I don't wear gloves very often at all. It's just the way I am. I've got some feedback like, oh, you're teaching everybody not to wear gloves and it's dangerous, you'll get frostbite and stuff. Look, if your hands are cold, wear gloves. My hands aren't cold. I'm not dumb enough to let my hands get frostbitten. I can feel when they're cold. They just don't get cold very easily. They do get cold, I'm not immune, but I don't wear gloves very often, and they get kind of accustomed to that, and they don't get cold as easily as some other people. That's all I'll say.
Did word get out, like, that if your name is...
All right, I gotta get rid of these chunks. Alright, now I can go wash the salter out. I should have thought about that when I was here, but... Alright, we're back now. Let's try that again. Alright, salter's clean. Now I'm going to start working on the truck. So this is a 2001, and I've been plowing and salting with this truck for years. And if you notice, the cab corners are perfect. The door bottoms are perfect. Even the corner of the door is perfect. I don't know if you can see that, but there is no rust at all on the door bottoms, as in nothing at all. And there's a reason for that. And the reason, see, like even in here, see the little corners and edges, there's no rust. And the reason is because I wash it. It's 17 degrees right now. Most guys, you know, they wouldn't want to be out here washing their truck with a hose in their driveway, but I do this pretty much every time I use a salter. Sometimes if there's, you know, 2 or 3 storms in the same week, I won't wash it till the end of the week when we're done with it. That's perfectly fine. That happens. Or if it's below 0, you know, I won't wash the truck. But it's pretty chilly right now, but I always try to keep the equipment nice, try to keep it clean. I see guys with trucks that are 5 years old and have rotten cab corners and there's rust on the door bottoms. That really doesn't have to happen. So try to wash my stuff up and keep it nice. You can keep an old truck like this. This is, you know, it's over 20 years old, this truck, and it's not rusty. It's in good shape. The nice thing about these auger driven V-boxes as opposed to the drag chain is they don't spill salt into the pickup bed. So right now there is no salt in this pickup bed at all. If you're careful when you load the salter, if you don't spill it or overspill it into the bed, then you don't have to deal with that. All right, so we got the Salter clean and the truck, the outside of the truck, the plow glass and mirrors are clean. That's important, obviously, but that's not the most important thing when you wash a salty truck, or a car even for that matter. The most important thing is to wash underneath the underbody. So I made this right here, and this is just real simple. It's just a pipe. I welded some pieces of plate on there, put some swivel wheels on there, and then on the end I put an elbow. And this was a nozzle, so you could adjust it and it would spray. It broke, but it still works fine. It'll just flush now. So this, I'll show you how I use it, but I'll hook it up and I'll just run it back and forth under the truck. Make sure I get every part of the truck, make sure it's all clean, all the salt is gone, and that really is the secret to keeping your trucks nice. It's not the outside paint that rusts, it's all the corners, the edges, and underneath the truck that never gets washed. So this is the most important step in my opinion. All right, so that's what that looks like. I'll run that back and forth under the whole truck. Make sure I get under the doors, under the cab corners, the whole frame of the truck. I just make sure I don't miss any of it. It really only takes about 10 minutes. It's pretty easy. I'll start in the front. And you can see the water, how it comes out the top of the bumper. It's just flushing everything that's up there. And I run it under everything, the engine included. And then as I come up by the wheels, I'll tilt it, make sure it gets all the brakes, like that there. Gets all that back there real good. And I'll just run it back and forth slowly. And then when you get to this door area, I really give it some time to get up under there and flush everything out all the way. And you can watch the water. If it's coming out all dirty and stained, you know it's not flushed completely yet. Once it comes out clean, you're good to go. And you can keep moving. And this is why my 2001 truck is not rusty, even though it's been used as a plow truck for many years. It takes a lot of work. This whole process takes between 30 and 50 minutes, depending on how much salt really you have in the bed of the truck. That can take a lot of time getting that out of there. That's a pain if you overspill. But it takes about 30 to 50 minutes, and then you know your truck's clean and it's ready to go for the next storm. When I come to the cab corners, I will lift it right into the cab corner and flush that thing out very, very good. Same thing back here on these fenders. Make sure everything's clean, clean, clean. All right, we're done. This truck is clean. I just gotta run the hose out and put the tarp back on, and we'll take this back to the yard. It's ready to go for the next snowstorm. Yeah, washing your truck when it's 17 degrees with a hose is not pleasant, but in my opinion, it's worth it, and I think it's necessary. I really do. Sure, you can pop your plow off and go through a drive-through car wash, but that little underbody wash that you get in a car wash is not gonna get the underbody clean. Of course, it's better than nothing. Definitely do that. But if you want to really keep your truck nice, it's a truck you're going to use for plowing and salting for years and years. This is the way to do it if you don't have an indoor building. Of course, if you got an indoor building, it makes things a lot easier, but I don't have one. You got to do what you got to do. You got to man up, freeze your hands, and knock it out. And that's what I did. All right, I know that seems like kind of a pain, it's a hassle, but I don't have an indoor space to do it. This is the way I've been doing it for years and years. Now it's just one truck. Years previous I had two trucks, so I do this one and then the next one. Yeah, it's cold. Your hands get cold. My hands are pretty cold right now. But if you want to keep a truck looking nice for a long time. I feel like this is something you have to do, is keep your truck clean, keep the Salter clean. That way the next time you go to use stuff, it works and it's ready to go. So all right, I'm gonna go take this truck back and warm up my hands. Adios. Steps that I take to additionally rust proof my truck, and I use a product called fluid film. I'm not going to talk too much about it right now. This is the product here, but I will do a video on it, about it, why I use it, when I use it, and why you should use it. So that'll be in a future video, but I did want to mention that because I know that there are going to be a bunch of guys that throw that down in the comments section as well. It's a great product, but we'll do a separate video about it.